About a month ago, I made a bold claim that stirred up quite a bit of a controversy. I said that the 2023 Dodge Demon 170 went through testing, was driven, and eventually broke down, all while missing a bearing. While this statement caused such a huge firestorm among the so-called experts online who were quick to argue to me that it is impossible for any car, let alone a 2023 Dodge Demon 170, to run without an engine bearing. They were so adamant that I just had to be wrong. But here's the kicker. What if I told you that I had the paperwork to prove that these naysayers are wrong? Not only that, but during this whole ordeal, I've uncovered something even more surprising. A second Demon 170 with a bearing issue, and then even 3 more Demon 170s that went down with engine issues. If you ever find yourself at wit's end dealing with a dealership or corporation that's playing games with your emotions and your hard-earned money, don't go at it alone. My friends at Gordon & Partners are here to help you guys out. They got your back, whether it's fighting shady paperwork, challenging unethical practices, or even helping me to recover a non-refundable deposit when a dealership committed wire fraud with my Demon 170's down payment. And with my special email address, butter@fortheinjured.com, you'll be directly connected to some of the best lawyers in the country. Gordon & Partners make sure you get the help that you need and the justice that you deserve. My over 35,000 friends and the 71% not yet subscribed, TK's Garage, OC Motivator, and myself have taken a lot of flack over the last several months exposing these issues with the last great Hemi cars. The Demon 170 did not come out of the gate firing on all cylinders, pun intended. From Dodge themselves, admitting they were blowing engines to production setbacks to issues with these engines, my small channel of 35,000 people did not crash the market for Demon 170. Stellantis did that all by themselves. So don't shoot the messenger because I didn't assemble these engines improperly. I want the Demon 170 to succeed. Even though mine technically had issues ever since I had mine, I still love my Demon 170 to death. I mean, even though my performance page wasn't working right, I got a rusty undercarriage, my car was smoking the E85, I'm vibrating above 60 miles per hour. And you know, don't let me mention that my spark plugs was improperly gapped. But like I said, I love my Demon 170. The 2023 Dodge Demon 170 is the best that Dodge can offer, but the execution of Demon 170 leaves a lot to be desired, especially when you consider these are cars that they done made for almost 20 years. And now we're about to go to a future of electric vehicles. And I'm supposed to trust that the issues that plague a 20-year-old car is not going to rear its head in a brand new car in an EV that these people don't know how to build yet. But I digress. But there is a group of owners who have gotten together to discuss the issues with their Demon 170s, most of which they all need engine replacements, which considering that a high number of Demon 170s are sitting in a bubble. And then according to TK, he tell me, I think last night, that almost 370 some Demon 170s are still sitting at dealerships unsold. It does not look good, the amount of cars that needed engine replacements, especially considering Dodge had to take some long blocks and crate engines out of the power broker dealer's inventory to have enough engines to replace the ones that are blowing in a production car that's supposed to be a halo product. If you are an owner of a Demon 170 or you offloaded yours because yours had issues, you can definitely reach out to me or TK or OC Motivator and stuff. My social media stuff scrolled down the bottom a little while ago, and I'll make sure I get you guys connected into this group of all the owners who've had these issues with their engines. This group is pretty much going to try to get to the bottom of what is going on with these cars, because there's a lot of money people spend on these cars for engines just be popping within one of them popped within 97 miles. So I can't say it within a couple hundred miles. And I think there's more cars that blown than even I realized, especially with, dealers coming to me about the scarcity of replacement blocks right now or crate engines, because some dealers had to return deposits because they don't have any more engines in the inventory to actually go sell to customers when it's supposed to be like a $27,000 cash grab, but they don't have any anymore. It seems that stuff so simple is happening to these Demon 170 engines. Something as small as a misalignment of a harmonic balancer can have a devastating consequence and could seize the engine with less than, I think, like I said earlier, like 97 miles on it. Now, I brought you guys that story back in January this year of that particular Demon 170 that had to wait a few months for a replacement engine block. Now, I had to actually go and interface with Dodge because initially they denied the warranty replacement on that car because the customer drove over 100 miles per hour within the first 100 miles of the car. But it really doesn't matter if he did that at 100 miles or 10,000 miles. If the harmonic balancer was already misaligned and the dealership had already stated that harmonic balancer was on there improperly and that would lead to the engine failure, not the customer driving 100 miles an hour, then that just goes to show that sometimes Stellantis tries to hide behind little tic-tac little things to make sure they're not on a hook for like a $40,000 or $50,000 engine replacement. And now, just a couple weeks ago, I learned of yet another Demon 170 whose harmonic balancer, it simply just came off. And then next thing you know, it had kind of like a similar issue to the first Demon 170 that came off. But this particular one, it started chewing into the block, but not enough for Stellantis want to replace the engine. Luckily for this customer, he doesn't need a new engine replacement, but Stellantis had to go in and actually, get some stuff fixed. I'm gonna show you some pictures right here of what the customer sent me, but you have to ask yourself, when I talk about all these engines failing, did the people who assemble these engines properly torque these engines to spec, or maybe over torque them, or maybe use cheap components? Like I said, something as simple as for this next Demon 170, something as simple as an oil leak can lead to months of downtime and discovery of a much bigger problem. Which leads me to the video of this Demon 170 that I reported a month ago, that so many people kept screaming that it was impossible that this could happen, rather than what if it's really possible that this did happen. And this particular case, that is just the beginning of the story with this Demon 170 that had the bearing issue. Now, as I explained in my last video, this Demon 170 developed a leaking issue after the owner used E85. Kind of like my situation with my Demon 170, where my car started smoking after I put in E85. But this owner took his Demon 170 to the dealership, and after a trial and error of the dealership trying to fix whatever's wrong with his car, more serious problems were discovered. Now, this Demon 170 was leaking from the rear main seal, and it was thought that maybe like, hey, let's just replace the rear main seal and that should fix the issue. Well, the rear main seal was fixed and the car was put back together. They went on a short test drive, and then what do you know, this Demon 170 was still leaking. And then you fast forward a month later, the dealership wanted to replace the crank and the main caps just in case something was going on, which is odd because I have a direct text message from Dodge themselves telling me that they would never work on a short block. They would just replace the short block themselves, diagnose the engine themselves, probably fix it, and then put it back into rotation, more than likely. I don't know what they do with engine blocks that they may be slightly out of spec. I don't know if they throw them away. I don't know, repurpose them. Now, this story really had my spidey senses tingling because I was specifically told by Dodge they would not do that when I was talking to them earlier about another Demon 170 that was blowing an engine. The only other reason I would figure that Dodge would work on a short block is because they don't have that many Demon 170 engines left, and so many cars are blowing up at the same time. They don't have enough short blocks, and that's probably why they had to start using crate engines. Because as I told you guys earlier, in January, one of the first Demon 170s went down with an engine replacement, and that person had to wait until like March of this year to get a block to replace in his car. Now that engine came in, the Demon 170 got fixed, and then right around that same time, that's when Racer X's engine went down, and he got one of the other blocks I know from that initial batch. And then bam, pretty much after that, between that time period and June, there was no more short blocks available. People telling me in June their engines went down, that the dealer told them they're gonna get a full replacement crate engine, no short block. Even though the previous cars, they basically took the short block, took the top end, took the blower, put it right there on the block, put it back in the car, boom, bam, done. With this particular car, the one I'm talking about with the bearing issue, they tried to fix a short block for that DB170, but then that's when it was discovered that there was no bearing on the number 5 cap. Maybe the tech didn't see the bearing or the remnants of the bearing in the oil or sitting in the oil pan. Just that it is so impossible that I and everyone else is lying that this car ran without a bearing, blah, 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 blah. And since we are playing Mythbusters, I'll present my paperwork to confirm this lie is actually true and present it as Exhibit A. You see that the dealership, not me, not the customer, not whoever else, some people gonna kind of think up in their mind, but the dealership said that there was no bearing on that engine when they disassembled it. It took a while to get the paperwork because I'm sure some of these experts will forget about the whole CDK hack that happened back in June that affected dealerships, which delayed even me getting my paperwork on what happened to my particular car. Now, a lot of guys don't remember, but hey, this happened for a few months. Dealerships wasn't able to do contracts and stuff. They had to do stuff by hand. Dealerships wasn't able to really service stuff. They had to do stuff by hand. But now a lot of dealerships are getting back together and getting their stuff in order. And now we're able to actually get paperwork. But the paperwork does confirm that there was no lower bearing on the number 5 main. But I guess some people are still going to say that this is impossible still, or claim I had the dealer forge this or whatever, but the fact remains that this is official and Dodge themselves have a record of this happening. Because if I was lying, and I know the CEOs were both CEOs of Dodge, and I know some of the head people in Dodge, they would have came and said something to me in the background that, hey, this did not happen. You need to clarify your actual stance and say this did not actually happen. I mean, just like you've seen other videos where I asked Dodge for a question and they gave me their response. The 149 mile per hour lawsuit, they gave me their response. People with the rusty undercarriages, they gave me their response. Spark plug issue, they gave me their response. So if I was lying, Dodge would have said something to me about it. But as I said in the beginning of this video, this is not the only Demon 170 with a bearing issue. There is yet another Demon 170 that had a bearing that failed on it. I'll just show this picture right here to show you guys that there is something wrong here. Now, I get that engines fail, but this many Demon 170s this fast, and Dodge admitted like 2 years ago that they were blowing engines, and that's why they pulled the Demon 170 from SEMA in 2022. It was because it was all teased during Speed Week of that year by Tim Kaniskis that this car is supposed to be going to Speed Week, or not Speed Week, but going to SEMA that year. How many more Demon 170s have suspect engine build quality? How many Demon 170s was not torqued properly from the factory? Because I have another message from Dodge about how the Demon 170 engines were ran from the factory. It was said that right here, I'll put this message on the screen, that every Demon 170 engine was ran on a dyno for 42 minutes before they got placed into a car. But I have to question, if these cars, where these engines was ran for 42 minutes, why within 97 miles did a harmonic balancer all of a sudden, once a customer goes through the rev ranges, all of a sudden comes off? Why in some people's cases, their main caps are loose? Because I've had several people say that with a tech told them that the main caps on their blocks were loose when they broke the engine down. So something tell me something odd is going on here. And how many of these cars have these issues? Is it just a good question? A bunch of these cars are investments sitting around wrapped in bubbles, waiting for the prices to creep back up so owners can at least try to break even. So would the next owner be on the hook for a $40-something engine replacement because the car was sitting for like 5 years, the warranty ran out, and I guess we can kind of say now there is a known issue with these cars randomly blowing engines on the street and the strip. all the way from 90 something miles to like 1300 miles, these engines can pop. And it doesn't take a piston going through the block to cause an engine failure. Something mounted improperly like a harmonic balancer can tear up a block. Or from what I hear from a few people telling me, that techs are claiming that, like I said, there's like loose caps on several of these engines that went down when the blocks were inspected on teardown. Maybe, just maybe, the cylinder pressures from E85 are so high in these engines that some of these engines are falling apart under that stress. Dodge did note on E85 that in the video how much extra pressure that the engine is under. And you can see right here in this clip right here. I've heard of this issue of loose main caps from multiple people and people I know that don't know each other. And if this is the case and the main caps are loose and it is leading to the blocks blowing up, then maybe, just maybe, a voluntary recall of the Demon 170s should be discussed. Maybe there needs to be a revision of the fasteners holding these engines together, because maybe, just maybe, they are letting go because of the pressure of E85. I don't remember ever seeing Hellcats, Red Eyes, Super Stocks, 2018 Demons, Trackhawks, TRXs, or even Hellcat Durangos have the kind of block issues that Demon 170 is having. Those cars are running 93, and I don't think I never really heard of any one of those other 6.2 liter supercharged vehicles having loose main caps. And I got, like, I don't want to play the video because I got the video in confidence from some people, but there's videos of caps just wiggling. Like, that's how bad it is in some of these cars. And then you also have the suspect stuff going on of multiple harmonic balancers are flying off these cars, leading to like issues with the balancer tearing into I think what the timing cover and stuff. These engines, I mean, who in the crap is building them? Because it doesn't seem like the same people who built the other 6.2 liter blocks are building these blocks. Or maybe they are the same people, but the tolerances on these particular engines are different from regular supercharged 6.2 liter Hemi engines. I mean, like I said earlier, every Demon 170 that I was told is ran from the factory at 42 minutes. And like I said, how in the world, if that is the case, are these engines just ran at like idle for 42 minutes and then they're put in the car? Are these engines running through the rev ranges while they are being broken in? Because like I said, how does a harmonic balancer survive running on a dyno for 42 minutes and it couldn't last in the car for 100 miles? Like I said, I'll show you this picture right here. This Demon 170 had its engine seized because of a harmonic balancer coming off within 100 miles. So what is going on here? So I've already discussed those other 3 Demon 170s that went down. Let me show you guys this screenshot posted from a tech who has 2 more Demon 170s that went down that both need engine replacements. So I'll go and put it on the screen. I got mine right here. Guys, please read this as I do not want to see any premature failures of these iconic cars. I posted earlier about being a lead technician at a power broker shop. Currently, I have 2 Demon 170s in the shop, both needing engines. Neither have seen any track time. The first one was at 1,400 miles on it, and the other one has 300 miles on it. Both had catalytic converters replaced due to breaking internally. And that's also another problem I've heard. They all needed the catalytic converters replaced. Mopar had me do both catalytic converters, new plugs with tightened gap. Fast forward to now, and it came in with a timing code due to low oil pressure. So I'm assuming they fixed these engines with the cats need to be replaced first. Then they also did the spark plugs with a tightened gap. Now fast forward to now, and I guess one of the cars came in with a timing code due to low oil pressure. They removed the oil pan, revealed more sparkle than a Gold Rush sluice, and the main bearings that are gone. Now I wonder if they meant by gone, meaning that there's no more main bearing in the car, or the main bearings are shot in the car now. That's a very interesting question to see whether or not that's the case. Other Demon has 300 miles on it. The left bank catalyst has failed, and removal of the cylinder heads reveals that the cylinder wall scratches that have the block wasted for any stock piston warranty repairs. It is my belief that these need to be slowly integrated into running on gasoline if you opt against running E85. I don't feel fuel additives are compensating quick enough before the cat damage occurs. I guess these engines are not readily on hand for these cars, and who knows how long they'll be without engines. So, like I said, he posted this a couple weeks ago, but there you have it. More Demon 170s going down with engine issues, and he says right there in that post that the main bearing is gone. So whether or not it's missing after they've already, well, I'm pretty sure he didn't open it up. Let me go look at it again. I'm pretty sure he opened the engine up the first time. So maybe, just maybe, that car was missing a bearing when they came in the first time, and they figured out the second time after that, they go in and try to actually fix the car again due to low oil pressure, that the bearing was missing. So there you go. You got technically have 3 cars that either the bearing is missing, or the bearing has failed, or the bearing went somewhere in the oil pan and the tech might not have seen it. But hey, it's just me lying, putting stuff in people's heads that, you know, this stuff is missing. But I think, and then, like I said, this is my opinion, I think there should be a discussion about having a voluntary recall on the Demon 170s to have the stroke blocks checked, the spark plugs got properly, and the engine retorqued back to spec. Now, we're talking about less than 3,300 cars because some of these cars have been exported illegally to other countries. Some of these cars are sitting in bubbles, and some of these cars are actually wrecked now. And it pretty much seems that before the 1,500 mile break-in period, all these cars are blowing. And how many more, like I said, in the bubble, they're gonna be sitting with delivery miles the next few years, are they gonna blow? I think honestly, there should be an extended warranty added to every single Demon 170, just so Stellantis will stand behind their product, because Stellantis' quality has gone down the drain since they have taken over. I mean, we don't even have to really delve deep into, you know, the quality issues within Stellantis. I mean, we all know how bad the Grand Wagoneer is on quality, and other Dodge vehicles that amazingly leaves the plant without, let's say, for example, the whole rear half of the car welded properly, and Stellantis was trying to play tic-tac-toe and try to, not try to buy the car back. I had the dealer re-weld the back half of a car rather than buying back a lemon. I know guys who have Grand Wagoneers where Stellantis is slow walking them for almost an entire year to buy back a lemon because this company is in financial trouble. So like I said, I know for a fact that Stellantis has offered some of these Demon 170 owners extended warranties for free. So as I said, it's not outside the realm of possibility to extend the favor to everyone else who may have an issue with a car like this, especially like mine smoking once I went on E85. But with the Demon 170s missing the bearing, that one particular one that I talked about in the last video with the oil leak, his story is far from over. There's even more bad stuff that happened with his particular car. Now, that particular Demon 170 went from having an oil leak to a missing bearing, and you would think the case would be closed once Dodge supplied a replacement crate engine. Because like I said, they didn't have any loan blocks available. They had to start using crate engines. But you would be wrong to think, because even the replacement engine that they supplied for that particular Demon 170 was bad and needed to be fixed by the dealer. And as I said earlier, Dodge did not have any stroke blocks available, so they had to start using the full crate engine to replace the blown blocks in the Demon 170s. And as I said earlier, I had a power broker buddy of mine confirm to me that Dodge took their inventory of the C170 crate engines away, and then magically a full crate engine showed up and then was dropped in some of these Demon 170s back in June. Now, the funny thing is that the owner of this particular Demon 170 wanted the tech to change the spark plugs to NGK, because that seems to be a spark plug that a lot of people have recommended that Demon owners switch over to. I know that they're colder and all this other stuff, and they're tried and true. But, surprise, surprise, someone at the plant who built it and assembled this engine doesn't know how to screw in spark plugs into an engine block properly. Because what if I told you that the threads were stripped And the block threads were also damaged on the number 2 and the number 6 spark plug holes. So we have Demon 170 engines in production cars, not assembled properly, maybe not torqued to spec properly, and now we have Demon 170 crate engines that are not properly torqued for something as simple as a spark plug. I mean, this is like the wildest thing I have ever heard for this one particular customer to go through. He has his car, it's running fine. He puts E85 in his car, develops a leak. They replace the rear main seal. That doesn't fix the car. They say they're gonna replace the main caps and I think they say they're gonna replace the crank too, and that doesn't work. That leads to them finding that there's a bearing missing in his car. He gets a new crate engine because there's no short blocks available. He gets a new crate engine. He has the tech put in a spark plug, and they find out that the block is damaged and the spark plug is damaged. And all this is like, you know, all for one customer who paid, well, I'm not gonna say how much he paid, but you got people who paid a premium for the Demon 170s and they can't even supply you with parts that's not damaged. Like, this is like so embarrassing. You got like a 200K car, a 40K engine, and a tech has to go and fix it. Like, how can anyone have any confidence in quality right now? Multiple Demon 170s have gone down for engine issues, and this is supposed to be a Halo product. Hundreds of cars have rusted suspension components. I mean, you got replacement engines that are coming damaged to the dealerships. Cars are leaving on the plant not welded properly, like with the other last car that I covered. And I mean, come on, where's the pride in the work here, right? I mean, like I said, I love my Demon 170 to death, but I'd be lying if I didn't have some worry in the back of my mind about my engine blowing because it started smoking when I put E85 in the car. And then what about the guys who don't have numbers matching Demon 170s anymore? Because once they get that new block, their last Ford event is no longer stamped on the block. Or the guys who are stuck because they can't get out of their car because a dealer conned them into believing that this was an investment that's going to reach $500,000 within a year or two. Or the guys that are hit with FOMO and they overpaid. And we've all heard for months that Dodge might not build all these cars, that Unifor and the UAW strikes might limit production, and Dodge, they plan to try and build all 3,300 cars. And then at the end of the day, a lot of people feel suckered into getting this car. But also at the end of the day, my YouTube colleagues bringing this to light, this stinky cologne draped around the Demon 170 and the quality of these last call vehicles isn't what caused the values of these cars to crater. It's the penny pinching of the European overlord Carlos Tavares that did, because none of this crap was a problem before Stellantis took over. And now with literally every automotive channel, even one of your guys' favorite ones, sees that Stellantis is in big trouble, and not just because of the EV push, it's because of Carlos Tavares, who his whole cost killer tactics, it may have worked in Europe, but over here, we like quality. But let me know what you guys think, and until the next time, I'm out.